So let's start by looking back at where we are compared to like last week's Sunday. Last week's Warriors call. So last week I expected us to push out and take out the weekend lows. So we basically started our Sundays talk around here. So I had this inverse head and shoulders that we did see played out really nicely, respected this sort of resistance, and then we did come down as expected and swept those weekend lows into this sort of point of control from this previous range. So we held above that really nice. Had also a breakout retest from our trend line that before the big move up that we had. And yeah, we got in long there, caught that, and we rode it a long way up. So yeah, we bounced there really nicely. Once again, we had a inverse head and shoulders basically. Could have longed on the retest, you could have longed the back at the POC. So yeah, from there we have absolutely been pumping insane. We were at 67k like a week ago. We had like a small breakout first, and we came back, retested inside of this sort of downtrending channel, and then from there we had elections and everything just went up by like 10% in a single day. So that was actually insane. So from there we just consolidated again a bit here. Again we see the inverse head and shoulders, one of the best patterns. I love to portray them. Sort of make a resistance up at these highs, which were new all-time highs. Then once we started breaking out here, we did flip it, came back, tested it as a support, and that could have been like a second sort of entry for a long scalp. I think Aussie did call this one, and we traded that back up to the highs. Then over the weekend, like the past few days, we have been moving sideways mostly. I was looking for this last leg up. I did long back here, so I was using Elliott wave counts in this case. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I was looking for the fifth leg up. So we did get that. We swept that high right there. And that was our first take profit, and then we rode it down again before we're actually hitting our second TP. It was 775. Yeah. So that was a good trade as well. Yeah, then from there we are still, so this is Saturday still. We have just been pumping Sunday straight up. Explosive moves. We're still pumping. We're at 81k almost, and we're bullish as shit on all time frames. So what I would possibly be looking at for sort of the coming week, obviously our momentum is extremely bullish. We can keep pushing here. We can consolidate a bit here, keep pushing towards the upside. But if we were to look at the CME chart, then it's still closed. It opens in 5 hours. I was looking here at the sort of 80k region for a short. Now Bitcoin already pushed past that, but if Bitcoin decides to stay up at these prices, we will have a sort of kind of big CME gap from 70.71 up all the way towards 81k. I think I have it marked out on the chart as well. Yeah, back here. So this is where the CME closed. So I would suspect that we could get a pullback, maybe even after sweeping now here, or if we push up towards this 81,680 fib level, that we could see sort of some sideways momentum, maybe a break of structure towards downside, and then a fill of the CME gap, fill some fair value gap back here. And that would sort of be your next long signal, and that would be between these 777 and 77.7, like this sort of area for a retest. Once again a supported resistance flip, just like we did here. Just like we did here. Could look for the same thing again. No need to overcomplicate that stuff. Again, shorting won't be easy, but we'll see if we do get some sort of break of structure, and I will try to catch the move down as well that we did the move up. We can look at some USDT dominance charts. We have a clear breakout here. We have a weekly sort of trend line that we broke below. And a daily also uptrend. So just we did break below this like some time ago. That was Tuesday. We came up, retested it twice before actually going towards the downside. So now I'm currently looking for like the lower time frame. I'm looking for some edge waves here as well. So I'm looking for 3 impulse moves towards the downside. This can push all the way. Like if I were to add the 3618 here also. So this we could see like a continuation still here. If this was count 1, this count 3 could push up down all the way to 445, depending on where this bounces. And then obviously the downtrend is in dominance and the uptrend is in Bitcoin, so we should be looking for longs on Bitcoin. Add majority of alts and everything else of the market. But I would be still looking for this sort of 445 bounce. Maybe some smaller consolidation, bigger structure retest, and then it pushes up towards the upside. And here we could be looking at a sort of a retest of the 0.5 and 618 fibs. I think we stay below this. It's one of the rules that Elliott waves stay below the 1. So that this 4 will most likely reject somewhere in this 466 to 471 region. And then I would want to see one more impulse towards the downside here. And sweep this the lows on 3 and possibly go even lower from there. So that's great. We're bearish on USDT dominance and bullish on crypto. We look at some charts like Solana. We had a beautiful long. This was yesterday, yeah. That just hit take profit too. This wave 5 is not, can still keep pushing higher. But again, same here, we'll be looking for some sort of reaction. Possibly come back towards this support level that previously was resistance. Solana again could, like if we zoom out on the weekly or hourly or all time frames, we have had this extreme sort of consolidation for a long time. So these big explosive moves towards the upside are expected. Even if you look on the weekly, you would see something like a cup and handle. Basically you have your cup there, you have your handle forming here, and then a break towards upside. So currently what Solana sort of needs to flip, we are currently flipping it, is this sort of previous high at 210. So we're above it right now. I do have a harmonic target set at between 230 and 246. So I could see us pushing up there before we actually come back and retest any of these levels that we previously broke, like 210 and then 186 if we were to go that low. Hourly looks extremely bullish here again. We come up, we start consolidating sideways, we have sort of an ABC correction and then just an impulse towards the upside again. Very clean price action, nothing to overcomplicate it. It's a bullish flag right here. If you were to expect a sort of 1-to-1, then you would be looking for the same leg up here as you did it back here. and then you'd be looking at something like 220. Between a 250 and 220 would be sort of a good first target for that. So yeah, and I'm waiting for sort of this wave count, wave 5, and then if we do see a reaction, maybe some consolidation, a break, we could be looking for that ABC structure. So basically a pullback, retest of that mid-range, and then sweep these lows again before actually testing 200 and 204 or lower regions of like 192, and we start looking for longs again. I'm gonna have a look at some majors like total market cap, and these, like majority of these have exploded. So we have our wave counts here also. If we look on the macro scale, we are currently sort of in this wave 5. How far this wave 5 pushes, it can be anything from 3 trillion up to towards that 4 sort of trillion target. We have previous all-time highs at 3, and we have our wave count 3 at 2.7. We did on locally sort of, we had this demand zone that we bounced off twice, made a double bottom with a rising wedge here also. So basically faked out towards the downside, and then we broke up. It's gonna be again difficult here to look for any shorts. I'm looking at this high at wave 3 for sort of a retest, maybe even 2.6, but first I would not be looking for that, as it's okay, that would be okay, drop 3.7%. Could also see sort of a retest of this breakout that we did have, and this is also something again to look for longs. So it's gonna be a lot easier to catch these longs than to short this high. Have a look at total 2. ETH had a great week now also. So we had again here weekly breakouts. We have been moving sideways in a downtrend sort of for 200 days. Then we had this ascending triangle that we did talk about last week, and this sort of double bottom. Same here as the totals, we broke out towards the upside first of that, and then we broke the trend line that we previously expected multiple times. If we were to look at all-time highs here, it would be at 1.7 trillion, so that's some way to go from here. Will be a 51% move from here for some majors and alts. Could sort of see a retest of this previous high that we did just break above, and maybe possibly even the trend line. Not much to look for there. I'm looking at 12 hour, total 3, alts performing extremely well here again. We had a very big move. Like we had alts that moved 50, 60, 70%. I think ADA is up 40% today alone. SHIB is up 35. We have some random coins, Wi-Fi, TRB up 60%, 36%. So that's kind of crazy. We had a breakout of total 3. We sort of had a fake out towards downside from this rising wedge. We reclaimed, and then we just pumped through it all. What could we be looking for here? We could be looking for a sweep of the high, possibly some consolidation, pullback. I don't think we see that many deep pullbacks, but still something to look for. 700 billion mark around these previous highs, all the way down towards this sort of low 700 would be sort of your optimal entries for longs for a continuation towards new highs, with all-time highs all the way up at 1.126 trillion. and that from here would be sort of a 54% move. Could see here if we got trendline, possibly add some confidence on that resistance at the highs. So that's something we could look for as well. I'm gonna go through a few alts that we did trade over the sort of weekend or week. I'm gonna have a look at AVAX first. This one did talk about last week. We said that it was either a good swing trade or sort of just a spot buy. And let's see here, we are up 45% in the last 6 days, which is absolutely insane. But I am expecting it to slow down sort of between this 35 and 33 region. If we consolidate inside of it, it's bullish. If we go consolidate below it, as long as we see the sort of maybe a bullish flag or some sort of pattern, is usually when we can start looking for longs, or a breakout and then retest. If we're to get a deeper pullback, we can do some fibs. Do some fibs here. I don't think we get all the way to this 0.5, but we can look at the 386 and 382 as the first sort of shallow pullback. We have sort of a cluster right here on the 4 hour, which would be like a good target for sort of first for longs, looking for longs again, and that would be sort of this 29 to 30 region, which would also be at these previous highs that we did just break also. Let's gonna have a look at SUI. Inverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour. Beautiful breakout. Retest. And then just boom, straight up from there. All time high, so this is not easy to trade, it's price discovery. Moved up 38% in the last sort of few days. Or not even a few days, these might just be the past 2 days. Yeah. If you look at the 15-minute, looks like we're making some sort of cup here. Could be looking for a cup and handle. Failure of breakout here, you would be start looking for shorts if we break below the cup. Sort of handle there, right there. And then we start looking for some pullbacks into some major support levels that we previously did bounce off. First we'll be looking at this sort of 2.7 region. And even deeper than that, then we could get back, I don't know, about 2.2, but do some fibs here as well. Maybe 2.5, around that golden pocket, between the 618 and 0.5. A breakout here would indicate that we just keep going higher, see new all-time highs once again. ARB, I did talk about ARB just a few weeks ago. I missed this long, I forgot about it. So I had a beautiful harmonic there that did play out. Remove some of the stuff. And we did long it previously back here, that we did first take profit and then we come back to break even. So I have a larger harmonic on ARB where I'm targeting this sort of 1.13 area, so from here it's around a 2x. But would like to see sort of a retest of maybe this sort of breakout region 0.5 to 0.58 to 0.6 is where I would prefer to set some new long bids before actually continuing towards this B target first and foremost at 82, and then we have all the way up towards 1.12. A break above that would indicate that we might even go to all-time highs, even though I'm hesitant on ARB going to all-time highs. But it is possible, we are in a bull market. What more coins do we have? You guys can send us some coin requests in chat also if you would like me to watch a chart. Fetch, we bought this last week. I had 2 bids, I got fill on 1. This was a spot buy for me personally. Up 40% so far. We had a sort of a breakout retest. Can you draw this slightly different also like that. Was a retest, and then we just broke out. I'm looking for this retest of sort of this, it's sort of a rising wedge, possibly, and that will be like 1.9, so pretty good move from here, and the sweep of those previous highs that we did make at 1.7. And there you can see price slow down, maybe test the sort of mid-range here before continue to its upside, or maybe some sideways and tap the trend line and then go up. So that is something I would be looking at. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, similar to what Sui is doing, we sort of have a cup here. Could see like a breakout, maybe a retest of that 1.53. After the break of the sort of the handle or the top of the cup, you would be looking for a continuation towards upside. Staying careful not too long all right now, just because you don't know if you're gonna get that sort of Monday manipulation wick towards downside and then continue up. What more do we have here? We can look at Dogecoin. Oh, this one is so beautiful. Doge, just we had this market structure shift back here. We came back, retested that 0.09. We looked at this back then also. And we pumped from there, where it's up 200%, which is insane. I think Doge pumps back to all-time highs. Most likely even higher than that. Could see, because this chart is it's basically just sort of a potential cup and handle forming here as well. If you get the reaction back here at the 0.74, maybe a retest of that 0.4 to 0.5 area and then continuation towards the upside, that would be something to look for a larger scale. We have some highs back here also, that was previous there. Previous resistant. Let's have a look at Pepe. Absolutely beautiful chart. Similar to what we did back here, we had a fake out towards the downside before we came up, retested and broke out. Here we had that fake out to the downside, we started pushing up, consolidated a bit down, sort of a bull flag here also, or a trend, sort of downtrending channel. And then we have that beautiful break, retest twice even. And now we're just continuing towards the upside. I did buy this last week also spot, we did talk about it. And that's just something I'm looking for. I think Pepe flips Shiba in market cap, and Pepe is like 5 billion right now, and Shiba is like 11 million. So that's like a billion, I mean. So that's at least like a 2x from here. And possibly higher than that. CAS, let's have a look at CAS also. Looked at this also last week. I did call it in my chat. Had a bullish harmonic. We had all of these lows that were previously respected. We even did sweep this low right here. And then we have just this beautiful bounce straight into the golden pocket. 55% move so far. I believe we did reclaim some trends here also. Could see sort of a inverse head and shoulders here. Retest back here at the 0.15 sort of area for continuation towards new all-time highs. Let's have a look at some requests here. Doug go to the moon. I think we have that bit and make C, yeah. Is this the correct one? I believe it is. Beautiful chart here as well. We do have this potential of sort of head and shoulders. Has to sort of flip this major resistance at 0.0045. We are on our way to testing it once again. Hopefully don't see a double top here. Neckline would be around the sort of 0.003. Again, I think this is a meme coin. Most likely lower market cap. This can move quick. If you are looking at this in sort of Elliott waves, this would be looking at sort of a ABC correction. ABC right there. And then you would be starting for those impulse moves towards upside, and that would you would have your first top, wave 2, and then you would be looking at a break of the wave 1, and wave 3 is the longest most of the time. Then a retest of sort of this 0.047 area, and then a sweep of sort of that high at 0.068 is what I would personally be looking at. So sort of this flip of this one high at 0.045, and then potentially a retest is where I would be looking to get in a position for it. I bet this is at some lower market cap, so you obviously have some more upside potential here. So a few X that you could possibly get up towards this. If we were to use some fib targets into price discovery, we would be looking at sort of 1618, 3618 and 2618. It's usually the first majors to look at. And there you have at 0.098, which is around the 2x from here. And then we have like 3x and 4x, basically. If this wave 5 is more impulsive towards the upside, you will be looking just for a small correction, A, B, C correction, and then a continuation towards the upside. Most likely bounce off that previous sort of high and this week at sort of pivot point. Any more requests? Maybe let's have a look at Jupe. We had a bearish harmonic on Jupe play out. This was 2 weeks ago. Had a solid dip, 21%. Came back, tested some of these previous support levels. Bounced beautifully off it, and it's running. Radium has been pumping it like insane. It's at 50% right now. Our first target for this would be our B point of this bigger harmonic that we do have, which would indicate that 1.3169. Could sweep that and get sort of a shallow pullback into before we see more continuation to the upside. The target for me on this harmonic is in this sort of 1.7 to 1.6 area, which is between the 886 and the 786 fibs. Let me add them onto our charts. Yeah, right around these highs. And then we could maybe see a retest of the 618.5, and we start looking for longs again towards new all-time highs. Trend is up, so we try to look for as many longs as possible. Trade with the momentum. I think those are the ones that I was looking to be scanning today. We could have a look at the USD, which is also pumped with Trump in winning the election. So we sort of have this flag. There's two ways that we look at it. This as a potential bullish flag, and then you would be looking for that expansion 1-to-1 towards the upside after breakout, and that would be like big push, probably back up towards these highs back here. I think, although it's not all-time highs, but it's a big push towards the upside. Or if we were to look at it at the bear scenario, is that we did get a breakout back here, a structure shift that we are currently just consolidating until we see expansion towards the downside instead. But as of right now, with how everything's going, I think that the upside potential has a higher chance of paying out. How far we can go depends on what happens, what numbers we get in the coming sort of weeks. Maybe back towards this high, into this sort of daily 12-hour fair value gap we have right here. Reject there, maybe retest, break up again, or maybe start breaking down from there. That's something we would have to wait for. S&P obviously is at all-time highs, keeps breaking them. We have a gap towards the downside, but I'm not sure if we're gonna fill that or if we're just gonna keep going towards the upside again. Could come out like a lot later on and just come back. Well, I think I am done there. Don't have really anything else to talk about. A lot of things has happened this week. Extremely bullish sort of momentum. I would love to keep seeing it.